Some women don't need to speak to be noticed. They don't raise their voice, they don't try to shine, and yet the whole room feels their presence. This is the strange part. It isn't beauty, it isn't charm, and it isn't even charisma. It's something deeper, something invisible. Carl Jung called this projection. When someone carries powerful inner energy, others unconsciously project their own hidden emotions onto them. To one person, she looks like a muse, to another, like a goddess, to others, like a danger they can't explain. And this is why such women are often remembered more for how they made people feel than for what they ever said. This is also why their presence can be confusing. They are admired and desired, but at the same time feared and misunderstood. People want to be near them, yet they never fully see them. They love the symbol, not the human being. And that creates a heavy paradox. Because while their aura feels like a crown, it can also feel like a cage. When people see you as larger than life, they rarely stop to ask what you need, what you feel, or who you really are. And so, the same presence that gives them power also sets them apart. They carry a weight that others cannot see, but always sense. Some women carry a silence that is louder than any voice. They can walk into a crowded room without saying a word, and yet the air changes. People turn their heads, not because of beauty, not because of charm, but because something in their presence cannot be ignored. It is invisible, but undeniable. Carl Jung believed this was the power of projection. The unconscious in others reacts to their energy. Desires, fears, and fantasies come alive in the presence of such a woman. To one person, she feels like a muse, to another, a goddess, to someone else, a threat. And this is why their presence is unforgettable. People don't remember their words, they remember the feeling of being near them. But here is the paradox. The more powerful the aura, the more isolating it becomes. What looks like a crown often feels like a cage. Because when the world sees you as a symbol, it forgets you are human. They love the light you give, but rarely see the weight you carry. They want the fire, but not the person burning inside it. And here is the hype you must not miss. This kind of presence is not ordinary. It is the mark of something rare, something Jung described as archetypal: the wise woman, the witch, the oracle. Women who embody these patterns awaken both love and fear, admiration and envy. That is why they are never neutral. They are remembered, desired, judged, envied, but never ignored. This is both the gift and the danger of the aura of silent gravity. To be seen everywhere, but rarely seen for who you truly are. To shine like a flame, yet carry the risk of being consumed by the very shadows you awaken in others. What if the thing you've always been ashamed of is actually the mark of your power? The nights you couldn't explain why you didn't belong. The gatherings where your smile felt borrowed, your laughter rehearsed. That quiet ache of being surrounded by people yet feeling oceans away. Most call it isolation, but in truth, it is initiation. Carl Jung said, "Loneliness does not come from having no people around you. It comes from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you." And this is where rare women stand apart. Their inner world runs deeper than most people can swim. The surface-level games, the shallow pleasures, none of it can reach their soul. But here is the twist you must not miss. The world mislabels this silence as weakness. They think she is fragile, reserved, maybe even cold. Yet in reality, she is storing power. Like a mountain that doesn't chase the clouds, but lets them pass. Like the ocean that never explains its depth, but swallows storms whole. And this is why her loneliness is sacred. It is the womb of her intuition, the silence where visions are born, the space where she sees what others cannot, feels what others deny, and prepares to transform herself into something untouchable. Yes, it hurts to be misunderstood. Yes, it burns to carry truths that no one else seems to hear. But this very loneliness is what sets her apart as unforgettable. Because when she finally speaks, people listen. When she finally moves, people follow. And when she finally loves, it feels like fate itself has chosen you. Her loneliness is not emptiness. It is her crown. What if I told you the most dangerous power is not what you say, but what others suddenly see in themselves when they stand near you? This is the rarest gift a woman can carry, the mirror effect. Without trying, she exposes people, their insecurities, their hidden desires, their shadows they've been running from. One conversation, one glance, and suddenly the other person feels stripped bare. And here lies the paradox. They're drawn to her, yet unsettled by her. They can't explain why they feel so alive and so uncomfortable at the same time. Some mistake it for seduction, some call it intimidation, but in truth, it is simply reflection. She reflects back the truth that most people spend their entire lives trying to hide. Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. This is why such women leave unforgettable marks. She doesn't just enter your life, she changes the way you see yourself. And once you've been seen in this way, you can never fully return to who you were before. Here is the hype. This kind of power makes her unforgettable, but it also makes her untouchable, because people either rise to meet what they see in her, or they retreat in fear of facing their own shadow. Either way, she never leaves their memory. The mirror effect is not a choice. It is her aura, her fate, and that is why she's impossible to replace. Powerful women are not remembered for how well they behaved. They are remembered for how much they refused to be tamed. This is the fire that burns beneath their calm face, the refusal to shrink, the refusal to fit into a mold made for someone else. People may call it arrogance, rebellion, even danger, but deep down, everyone knows its authenticity. She is not living for approval. She is living for truth.
And that truth is magnetic. When she walks into a room, people sense it instantly. She cannot be controlled. She will not be caged. She belongs to no one, not even to the expectations of society. And that is what makes her unforgettable. Carl Jung warned that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Most people never reach that point. They keep themselves small, polite, digestible. But she embraces the terrifying freedom of being fully herself. That is her untamed fire. Here's the hype. This fire is why people remember her long after she leaves. It's why her voice echoes louder than the voices of 100 conformists. And it's why, whether you love her or hate her, you cannot forget her. She is not remembered because she fits in. She is remembered because she burns through the cage and dares to stay free. Here's the truth no one admits. Unforgettable women are remembered less for their light and more for their shadow. She doesn't hide the darker parts of herself, the contradictions, the wounds, the fire and the scars. She carries them all openly, and that is what makes her impossible to replace. Because people don't just meet her sweetness, they meet her storms. And once you've seen both, they live inside you forever. Most women are taught to polish, to pretend, to show only the best sides. But Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. That's exactly what she embodies. Her presence forces people to confront their own shadow, whether they want to or not. And here's the hype. This is why people can't let go of her. They try to forget, but they can't, because she showed them parts of themselves they never wanted to face. She left fingerprints not on their skin, but on their unconscious. And the unconscious never forgets. Love her or fear her, her shadow lingers. Even when she's gone, she's there. And that is why she's unforgettable. What if the very thing that almost broke her is the reason no one can forget her? Every unforgettable woman carries a wound. Maybe it was betrayal. Maybe it was abandonment. Maybe it was the moment she realized the world was not as kind as she had hoped. But instead of letting it destroy her, she turned it into fuel. Pain carved depth into her soul. Suffering gave her wisdom that no book could ever teach. And this is why people cannot look away from her. They sense the survival in her eyes, the quiet strength in her silence. She has walked through fires most people couldn't even survive, and came out not just alive, but unshakable. Carl Jung once wrote that the greatest and most important problems of life are fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. And that is exactly what she has done. She didn't solve her pain. She outgrew it. She wore it like armor. She turned it into her crown. Here's the hype. This is why people remember her long after she's gone. Because when you meet a woman who has conquered her wounds, you don't just meet a person. You meet a force of nature. You feel both the tragedy she survived and the fire she became. And that kind of presence is impossible to forget. Some people look into your eyes and see your face. She looks into your eyes and sees your soul. This is why people can't forget her. Her gaze is not casual, not polite. It pierces, it searches, it strips away the masks people have spent years building. She notices the tremor in your voice, the silence between your words, the emotions you didn't dare to admit to yourself. And once you've been seen at that depth, you can never go back to being unseen. Carl Jung wrote that your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. But most people avoid that. They stay busy, stay distracted, stay shallow, until they meet her eyes. Suddenly, they are confronted with themselves, raw, naked, unguarded. And here's the hype. This is why people feel both drawn to her and terrified of her. Some call it charm. Some call it witchcraft. But it's not magic. It's perception. She simply sees. And when you realize someone has truly seen you, you can never erase them from your memory. Here's the truth no one likes to admit. Women with rare spiritual power are never allowed an easy life. Comfort avoids them. Peace slips through their hands. Instead, storms seem to chase them. Betrayals, heartbreaks, losses that would break most people. But for them, these storms are not punishment. They are initiation. Jung warned that the soul with great energy is shaped through fire. And that is exactly their story. Every crisis they survive, every scar they carry, forges them into something sharper, deeper, more dangerous. They are not shaped by comfort. They are remade by chaos. And here's the paradox. While others drown in pain, they rise from it. Their wounds don't just heal, they transform into weapons of wisdom. And this is why people who meet them never remain the same. Some walk away shaken, others walk away healed, but no one leaves untouched. This is their burden. They are not here to simply live. They are here to awaken others, even when it costs them their own peace. And that is why Jung's warning matters. If they forget to guard their own soul, if they give and give without rest, the fire that transforms them can also consume them. They are both the flame and the one in danger of burning.
If you've recognized even one of these signs in yourself, don't take it lightly. Jung believed that souls like yours are chosen, not for an easy path, but for a dangerous one. You are here to transform, not blend in. And that transformation will test you. It will isolate you. It will demand courage from you every single day, but it will also give your life a meaning most people never even touch. That's the gift and the price of rare spiritual power. Remember this, the world will try to consume your fire. People will love the light you give, but they may not love you. They will take your healing, your strength, your vision, yet leave you drained. And if you forget to guard your soul, that fire can turn inward and destroy you. But if you honor it, if you listen to the voice inside you, if you carry both your shadow and your light without shame, then your life becomes something else entirely. You become a mirror for the world, a catalyst, a force that awakens what others spend their lives trying to bury. Jung called this path individuation.
the dangerous, sacred process of becoming whole. Few dare to walk it. Even fewer survive it. But those who do change everything around them. So ask yourself, was this power given to you to destroy you or to awaken you? And through you, to awaken the world. Here's the cruel truth. Most people will never know this power exists. They will scroll, sleep, and die without ever touching the depth you carry. But if you felt even a flicker of recognition while listening, then you already know you're not ordinary. Jung's warning was clear. Rare souls either awaken or they collapse under their own fire. There is no middle path. So now the question is no longer, do you have this power? The real question is, will you survive it?